we're going to be doing what's called cartonnage. And cartonnage is the art of, it comes from France originally, and it is the art of making books and book making and box making, you know, out of cardboard or whatever. So, these are the ornaments. I have all 10 shapes. Where I got these shapes, you can get shapes from anywhere. You can get shapes from cookie cutters. You can get shapes from pretty much anywhere. These were off the internet, free, royalty-free clip art. I downloaded some of them and just printed them up. So I made 2 copies. You will need 2 copies of each design in order to make your ornament. But what is cartonnage? Here's some examples of cartonnage. And like, here's a set that I made. You can also make a bookmark. So for the contest, you don't have to make an ornament. You can make a plain, ordinary bookmark. And that's what this one is. And it's just made of cardboard. And the 2 things I use mostly in cartonnage is either going to be chipboard, and this is a 100-weight chipboard, and it's kind of stiff, and it's thick. It's used to make more sturdy things like this pencil box, and it stands up on its own, really nice. We also use cardboard boxes. I really like this because you keep these things out of the landfill and they have a new use for them. Ordinary cardboard from cereal boxes, cracker boxes. I use anything. Can't use corrugated cardboard like from a box. So if you see the little S shapes in there, corrugated, that can't be used. Those bend too easily. So this is just ordinary cardboard. Cereal boxes and cracker boxes are a little bit thicker, so they're pretty nice. And things can be made out of 2 layers. You want it a little thicker than this. And watch, cardboard has got a grain. See how it bends this way? So if you're making a book, you want this to be like this side of the book, okay? It doesn't bend this way. It wants to crease. There's more strength here, so that is the horizontal or the vertical part of the book. But here's some things I've made with chipboard, or not chipboard, with cereal boxes. This is a needle kit, and it's just got felt in here and little pockets to put things in, and an elastic. So this was just a sewing kit. This is a mini composition book, or a holder for it because you could replace the books. That was made with cereal boxes. Okay, this is a large Post-it note cover. So these are nice for anyone who sits at a desk or has any place you would need it. These are really nice, and they're nice and sturdy. This is just simply 2 layers. Well, sometimes I'll do 3 layers. Depends on how thick I want it to be. This is for earbuds. So you wrap your earbuds on there and place it like that. Elastic around it, and it keeps your earbuds nice and neat in your purse or wherever. And I even have a small Post-it note cover. And like this one's kind of thick. Okay? For the ornaments, we're going to use 2 layers of cardboard, or just, you know, regular cereal box board. If I want it thicker, like if I'm making a book, if it's a thicker cardboard like from a cereal box or from a cracker box, I still only need 2 layers together. But this is a cake mix box, and it's a lot thinner, and sometimes I'll glue 3 layers of together. So some of the and then of course here's a bookmark. All right, let's get those out of the way. Things you need to do cartonnage. Glue. First and foremost, glue. I use, it's called a PVC glue. I guess anyone will work, but I like Elmer's because Elmer's washable school glue really does me well with all my other projects. This is Elmer's Glue All. It does not wash away once it's permanently dry. It dries clear, but it dries, you know, it's permanent. It's not like wash away stuff. You need some paper scissors, fabric scissors, a good bit of snippy things, a paintbrush, an older paintbrush, one you don't care. And a lot of times I'll just keep it, even if it dries up, just stick it in a cup of water, let it sit for a couple hours, it's good again. I like to use a spatula, and you'll see why, this is just for drywall. They make special ones, but you don't need them. I like to use, to get my glue nice and thin, a little roller. And I got this roller from Lowe's or any Home Depot or whatever. And what it is it's in the sample section. When you buy the sample paints, these little tiny rollers work. And I got a little roller pan for it. I also bought extras, but I've not used one. I've been using this same roller since before Halloween. And what I do is, when between times, I put it in a Ziploc bag and zip it up. And that way I don't have to, it doesn't dry out, and I can keep using it over and over again. Okay, so we have different shapes. Notice there's two trees. I have one with more angular points, and this one's more rounded, so they handle a little bit differently. So for this class, we're going to start with a bookmark. Okay, bookmarks, and you also need a piece of scrap paper. Let me get a piece of scrap paper. Now you can get more information. Let me find a nice dark marker. Okay. My teacher for this her name is Claudia Squio, and she is actually from Brazil, but she lives in Michigan. And she has got a free course called The Joy of Cartonnage that you can download from her site. She also has a wonderful cartonnage club. There we have all different projects that we do, each getting harder and harder and harder. But you can go on her site. It's Colorway Arts. ColorwayArts.com. And her name is Claudia, S-Q-U-I-O. Okay, I just need a piece of scrap paper so that I can keep my area clean. Sometimes it helps to have a damp paper towel to help keep your fingers clean, but yeah, I like to live dangerously. Okay, so this is from, I think, a cake mix box. Okay, so this one's only going to take 2 layers. Why? Because I want the bookmark to be a little bit flexible. So I don't need a lot of glue, and as little glue as possible. Little bit glue goes a long way, so less is more, you know. If you put it on too wet, what happens is it'll bleed through on the front of your fabric, and I don't want that. So usually what I do is just put a little bit of glue, and I like to use the roller to get a really, really thin layer. Okay, especially when it hits my fabric. Okay, I'm going to take a piece here. And I'm going to, I'll put it, not this one, this one. That's not long enough, this is. You don't have to press your fabric. See how that's all wrinkled? I don't care. Okay, because I'm going to straighten it out, and the glue holds it in, and we'll get the wrinkles out for you. I'm going to cut it about 1/4 inch away. And then I'm going to cut miters on each side about 1/8 inch away from the corner. Okay. And this is a straight edge. That's why we're doing the book first. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, not a lot, very little thin line, and this is where I use my brush. So I'm just going to brush it on very little. I want to get the corners really well. Okay, and you can use a spatula to help seal it down. Okay, do I do that all the time? No. No, I'll show you what I do mostly. Okay, the corners right here, you want to push in and roll that over so that it won't stick out. Same thing on the other side. Don't need much. Again, get the corners. Okay. This is what I usually do. Just fold it over. There. And it's stuck, and then roll those corners in. This is where I usually get my fingers dirty. And sometimes I'll have a towel. Not today. And I'll just have enough here for both. That's enough glue for both of the little short ends. Get the edges. And I usually go on the fabric mostly. And this side too. It should be enough. And usually we'll hold it in and roll it. Okay, and hold it in and roll it. Okay, if I have pokey corners, like you can see, I don't know, I can't, yeah, here's one right here. See that sticking out? I'll just take a pin and push it in. There. Now it hides it out of the way. Then usually what I will do is I will put it underneath something heavy and let it sit while I work on something else. I don't have a lot of time today, so another thing you can do is, let me get this out, is I have a fabric covered board that's hard, and I can dry it with a dry iron. I'm rolling on the cord, there we go. Also, that's why you don't want glue on the front, because glue will mark it. If your cardboard is curled, you know, say it looks like that, and you want to straighten it out, just a warm iron, hold it for a second, it's good to go. Okay, we're good to go now. Okay, now we're ready to put this bookmark together. So I have a piece of ribbon here. Okay, I'm going to put a little glue on one end. Not much. A little more than usual, but you get that piece of paper. Okay, put that glue there. Fold, I got maybe about 10 inches of ribbon. I'm going to put the ribbon down. Tape it in place, just this tiny little piece of tape to hold it in place. Okay, now we are ready to put this bookmark together. Okay, now I'm going to put a little more glue than before. This is a small piece, so I'm not going to use the roller, but I want to get this fabric part that's on the outside a little more glue than I was using before. Ah, get out of here. Okay, so just getting the edges. Okay, and then right through the middle, a little more glue than usual. Okay, and then I'm going to put these two together. Now, and put all my edges together, nice and straight. Oops. Okay, it doesn't want to stay, and that's okay. Here's my choice now. Okay, if I have time and I'm at home, I will take pieces of just tape, masking tape, fold it over, put it over something heavy, and let it dry, like for several hours or overnight. You know, I'm going to take this off for now because we don't have the time, the luxury of time. So here's what I do: get a piece of just a press cloth, dry iron, and we will dry it together. Because the one thing I know about, it will stay. But it takes a little more time, about 10 seconds in each spot. And I'll probably turn it over because I want to dry that glue. And I want to dry the glue into the two layers together. The glue kind of melts and sticks together. Okay. And I probably still would put this under something heavy overnight in order to keep it straight. Next morning, if you find it's curly, just hit it with the iron again. And that bookmark is done. You can now decorate it. Other things you can do with the bookmarks is before you put the fabric onto the cardboard, you could embroider a name or use a fabric marker to put a name on there, or your scan and cut silhouette or cry cut to put a name or some other decoration. When it's done, then you can put crystals, glue, glue rickrack, anything you got in the house. I got lots of stuff. If you came to the meeting, I brought half the house with me. So this one is finished. Okay, now to get on to an ornament. We're going to make the one like this, which is the stocking, just for now. So, how I prepare the cardboard, I've got one already done, is that I have my 2 layers. This is from a box of cappuccino stuff. Okay, and I am going to put glue to glue my layers together. And I'm going to glue the printed side. Okay, and I want to, not a whole lot of glue, but you want it to be fully covered. Put the 2 together. Again, you can stick it under something a little bit heavy, just let it sit, come back for a little while. We don't have time, so guess what we're going to do? Heat set it together and it will stop sliding. Because I don't have the luxury of time today. And a lot of times at home we don't. We have 15 minutes to get things done before we go on to the next thing. So this, we got an extra 15 minutes, we can make an ornament. Now it's ready. So now we want to, and then here's one already finished. It's already glued together, and I'll use that one. Okay, so what I want to do is, again, put the glue on the back. I don't trace, okay? If you have a shape, cookie cutter, whatever, and you want to trace it, be my guest. I don't trace. I print, and I need very little glue on the paper. I could either put the glue on the paper or put the glue on the cardboard. It makes no difference. Okay, again, I just want to make sure all the lines are covered, and this sticks almost immediately. Okay, I'm just going to double check. Whenever you have a laser inkjet printer, don't put an iron to it. It's going to imprint on the back of your iron, so do the other side. I found that out the hard way. Then you want to take your paper scissors, and I'm going to cut it out, and I'm going to cut right on the line. Let me move this iron. Okay. And I just cut it right on the line. Okay, so now I'm ready to put the fabric on. Now this one is a 2-part one, and there's a couple of these shapes that are 2-part. There's the snowman. I think that's the only one that's like that. The snowman, where it's 2 different pieces of fabric. So the one that's going to require some turning, which is right here. Okay, I'm going to put that one on first. And here I'm going to go with my, now, I did one already. Okay, so once you do one, you want these to go together. So this one, I can't put the fabric on this side because that would make it backwards. So I have to put the fabric on this one, the gray side. And always make sure that the pieces are in the correct orientation. So I'm going to put some glue just on this top part because I'm going to do it first. Okay. Overlap it a little bit. Then I have a piece of white, and I'm just going to put it on there, smooth it out. Okay, and I'm going to cut out, rough cut it about a scant 1/4 of an inch away. Okay, I'm going to take some, these are little embroidery scissors that are sharp really to the point, and I want to clip my corners and points. There's one there. Okay. Oh, another thing I'll show you might be helpful. This little thing. Okay, that's all the glue I really need for the whole thing. And I'm using an old paintbrush. Don't use your good stuff. And I want to put the glue mostly on the seam allowances. Okay, although there's no seams, but you get the idea. And I'm going to push the points in here. Okay. When I want to go around a curve, I like to use a screwdriver and I pleat it around. If it doesn't want to stay, you know what to do. Hit it with the iron. It'll stay. Get this. On these sharp curves, I'm going to pleat it around using this screwdriver. Okay. It doesn't want to stay very well, so guess what? Heat set it down. You only have to tap it. It'll stay. Okay. Now we'll put the other part on. The bottom of the stocking. That's more than enough glue. You don't want a lot of glue because you don't want that to bleed through. You're going to put a little more where fabric is going to be glued to more fabric. Okay, don't put a lot because you don't want it to bleed it through because that's going to show. Okay. Alrighty, let me cut this. Now I need a piece about that big. Okay, you don't have to fold it there, but if you must, if it bothers you that it doesn't that it has a raw edge, how I know is because it bothers me. Fold it. You can heat set it down. It's not necessary if it's going to stay. There, I put that right at the top. Is it covering everything? Maybe a little more over this way. Yeah, a little bit more. Press it down and cut it out. Cut about 1/4 of an inch around. And what's really nice is not once do I have to thread a needle. Love it. Okay? I can't see the stupid needles anymore. Okay, here. And, okay, there are the curves. Glue my seam allowances down. I'm just going to put a light bit of glue around. It's more than enough. You need a little more there where glue hits fabric. Or, I mean, fabric is glued to more fabric. Okay. Press it in. A lot of times this part won't want to stay. So this is usually when I go to, while I'm working on it, take a wonder clip, because then, and just clip it while I continue on, and that way I'm not fighting it. And then I will, take it off. Usually it takes a couple seconds and it's stuck well enough to hold. Just pleating it around. Okay, over here in the heel part, it's kind of thick. So I'm just going to take my scissors and cut those bits off. If it sticks up, cut it off. Then I'm going to heat set this down just because we don't want to take a lot of I do recommend using some kind of a press cloth, and I don't have one here. Oh well, we just keep it still so we don't get any marks that might be. Okay, that's done. Okay, now we need to put on the tie, and for that I'm going to be using some of this candlelight thread. So I'm just going to take some candlelight thread with scissors that actually work. Okay, tie a knot. There we go. A little bit too much here. Okay, leave a little tail like that. I'm going to get a piece of tape, and this tape's going to stay here. So I just need a little tiny bit of tape. I'm going to take some glue. Glue where it goes together. Spread that glue out a little bit. I leave the knot. The knot in the tape in the string is right here. The edge of the fabric is right here. So put that inside just to reduce some bulk, and just hold it down with tape. So if your glue ever releases, at least the tape will hold the tie in place, or the hanger in place. And I'm going to put a whole lot more glue. This time, since I'm putting the pieces together, I'm going to put a little more glue and heat set them together. You can use more glue. It's not going to get onto the front now because it's got cardboard in between the face of the fabric and the cardboard. A little extra cardboard glue. Get it in those folds really good. Okay. Take the other side, press them together. If you are at home and you don't want to iron it, you can just simply tape the edges together, put it underneath something heavy, and let that go for a while. Or, piece of fabric here. And I'm going to just put, like it's a press cloth, and heat set this together for a good 30 seconds. And now you're ready to decorate it. As soon as it's stuck. Now turn it over. It's still not together. More heat. So heat and a little bit of pressure, or a heavy book, and leave it for a couple hours. Usually about 2, 3, 4, about 15, 30 seconds. It's good enough. It's going to stay. Okay, it is now ready to decorate. And on this one, I think I'm just going to write, let's see, I'm just going to use fabric markers. For this one, I'm just going to write on it. But you can decorate it however you like. Okay, I'm just going to write, do I like this side better? Yeah, I like this side better. I'm going to make this one for Lily. So L-I-L-L-Y. There's Lily's stocking. So, done. So that's all there is to it. Same thing, this hat piece goes on, only on this one, I believe that I put the white on first, and I used black rhinestones for the mouth. I used a fabric marker for the nose, a piece of soutache braid. But when I did this one, I put the white on first, and then so the white goes up to here, and then the black goes around. Okay, the other one I did differently is I did this one, put it together, and then when it was done, I wrapped white ribbon around it. One thing I don't recommend is don't use fabrics that have a lot of plastic in them. A lot of times at Christmas time, they'll put the cheap fabrics, they'll have like glitter, a layer of glitter and glue. That's too, that won't stick very well. It's hard to get it to stay. I've got here I used the tree, and I just took the candlelight thread and made the garland, put on some crystal rhinestones, and that one's done. This one I glued, same thing, I used a little felt star, and I glued on sequins. Here's the other one I did. This one I had little pom-poms for the mittens. This I found some of this metallic braid in the drawer somewhere. I had little bits of that. The round ones I fussy cut the fabric and put little rhinestones around. I did this one two-sided and I have like tons of those little rhinestones. This one I didn't like. Well, I like this one, but I need to put more glitter on it. The glitter didn't stay. I went too fast. I put it in the drawer too fast, but I put a rhinestone here and then glitter. I'll put some more glitter on it a little bit later. And I need to make some more of them. Oh, here's one I forgot to show you, the gingerbread man. What I did with the gingerbread man is remember that old squiggle, it was called Squiggles, and it was a paint. This is from the 1990s. It still is not dried out. I just made Rick Back and glued on a metal heart, and he's got green, spooky, weird eyes. so that was the gingerbread man. So, if I don't see you or hear from you between now and Christmas, I hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year. So, I want all of you to stay healthy, happy, and have a great week. And I will see you guys next year. Talk to you later. Okay, last chance for questions? Okay, bye.